Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. Well, I can see a little bit of daylight out there as we get into July, and then especially August and September. It's going to be darker and darker at 5:30, and it'll be impossible at a certain point to even do it this early. It won't be Dawn Busters, it'll just be overnight taste challenges. Once we pass June 21st, you probably noticed that days will get progressively shorter. This is from about 1934, but not in the current format, I guess. But it's Heaven Hills Kentucky Blended Whiskey. Make it look like an old country store sign, placard. It's a nice label. What's inside is kind of questionable, but now the backside has a different label than most of the Heaven Hill brands, which have like this standard Heaven Hill crest and all. This one is saying Heaven Hills #1 Kentucky Blended Whiskey. So it's sort of like their flagship blended whiskey, if there's such a thing, but there is apparently. This is the only Heaven Hill branded product we get in Louisiana. We get a lot of Heaven Hill brands, but not called Heaven Hill. You go to other states, they got Heaven Hill Bourbon, Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond Bourbon, Heaven Hill, all kind of stuff. All right. It says in the dark here, Sour Mash Kentucky Whiskey. I thought that's what it was saying. 80-20 blend as usual, age 3 years. So they use Sour Mash Kentucky whiskey. Now, a lot of these will use bourbon whiskey, but it's not necessarily sour mash bourbon. Usually isn't. Now, what's the sour mash that you get from Heaven Hill? What is it? Isn't that Evan Williams? So could this be a young Evan Williams blended with the grain neutral spirits? It could be. You'll never know. We'll never know. I'll never know. Now, the competitor is Triple Crown. This is an older label. If you look at their website, they've slightly updated the label, a little nicer looking. Although the one here is nice, but Triple Crown has only been on the market since 2013. It's sort of like the above premium brand for blended whiskey for McCormick Distilling. And I have to admit, it's pretty good for a blended American whiskey. Is it up to the level of a Seagram 7 Crown? That's gonna, I don't know. I think we'll find out when I do the taste challenge, okay? But I'm not sure yet. Now, so I got HH Heaven Hill. I don't think Heaven Hill's got a chance against it because the Heaven Hill blended whiskeys have a strange melon flavor, like honeydew melon. And I just know, and you probably agree, that whiskey should not taste like honeydew melon. You know what I mean? Triple Crown doesn't display, it doesn't present strange smooth cap. It doesn't present any weird things like that. No, it will not have the rich, deep flavor of straight bourbon. No. It'll be a little watered down. Not really water, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? For the use of grain neutral spirits, the grain alcohol tamps down the flavor, makes it not too flavorful. But if you're only looking for a mixer and you just want that 80 proof, it'll be fine. How many people are buying? Well, maybe Triple Crown because they claim it's a sipper and all this, but then there's a whole bunch of mixed drinks they show on the website. But that goes for any liquor, I guess. But mostly. But how many people are buying Heaven Hill Kentucky blended and doing this, swishing it around, letting it breathe, doing taste tests, taste challenges? Probably nobody. If I go to Circle K gas station, you know, in Louisiana, we had kind of loose laws in most parishes. They will have this in the bottle I'm showing you, the 750. They'll have the smaller 375s, maybe even 200 milliliter plastic bottles. And they'll have the big plastic jug, 1,750 milliliter. It's pretty prominent over there. So people are going there and buying it. Now, all they've seen is whiskey, and they're buying it, and they're mixing it and drinking it. Hopefully after work and at their home, not before work and in a car or something. You know, we want people to be responsible. But are they sitting down and really researching what is a blended whiskey, the use of grain neutral spirits as the bulk filler and all that? No, I really don't think they're doing that. Some people do. The enthusiasts, the hobbyists. That's a tiny percentage of the beer, wine, and liquor world. I mean, people like myself and you or viewers that are into it, yeah, we say, oh, yeah. All these facts, these important details. But most people just are indifferent to all that. Soylent Green says, it's snake oil. You got to buy this stuff off a covered wagon. In Virginia, you can buy it in CVS and Walgreens. Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. That's good to hear. Because some states are really strict. I thought Virginia had like a Virginia liquor control thing where you had to buy it from a Virginia liquor store. But I mean, you know, I'm not researching each state. I don't do that. But I know in Iowa, I think, in New Hampshire, it's that case. I think North Carolina. The appearance is just about the same. Not quite even on level. And I don't know which one I put too much of, but I'm not going to keep pouring up, and then I get it even, and I've got this whole glass full. I don't want to deal with that. Okay, it's got that aroma generally associated with whiskey. Now, the weird thing about the Triple Crown, but maybe it's not so weird, right? Maybe it's just weird that they disclosed it. It says it uses oak extract. Doesn't say it on the bottle. It says it on the website. I didn't even know what oak extract was. And then one of the commenters, but he didn't give me any details or any source material. He said, that's the dirty little secret of whiskey, oak extract. Well, maybe a lot of companies use it, but they prefer that you don't know that. If I get time one day, oh, this is Independence. Oh, I'm sorry. It's not Independence. It's July 4th. Remember they used to call it Independence Day. You might have heard on the news this morning that Independence Day was canceled across the United States because, well, as it turns out, Colin Kaepernick didn't approve of it. And he said he demanded that Independence Day be canceled. And so they said, okay, we'll not have it. And so they're going to, I think they said they were going to redo it and call it Oppression Day or something. He wanted to call it Oppression Day. So the great proletarian cultural revolution marches on. So remember they had that in China in 1966 to 1976 where they stomped out any kind of right deviationists and nonconformists and unapproved persons. So then things started to flare up in 89 and they, you know, rolled them over. So, and that former NFL player is trying to, you know, he's pretty successful at trying to set up the People's Revolution here. And of course the flag will probably change eventually. Keep the red, they'll drop the blue, add gold and different symbols instead of star. Well, they might keep a red star, but they probably add like a hammer and a sickle, something like that. So it would be a different kind of thing. All right, I think this is the Heaven Hill. North Carolina has ABC. Okay. Night Train drinkers versus nationalism. I've never had Night Train. I've been tempted to buy Night Train and Thunderbird, but I just never could pull the trigger on that. You know, I just couldn't go there. But I guess one day. I did the Mugen David 2020, and I did the, what's that other one? Wild Irish Rose. I think this is Heaven Hill because it has that kind of unusual sourdough bagel smell like you get with Jack Daniels, that sour mash whiskey. It's kind of just, it is distinct, but it's kind of like the aroma that you might like, or you might really like it, or you might really hate it. I don't know if there's a lot of in between on that. I mean, some people will say, yeah, Jack Daniels is okay, but a lot of people will say, I love it or I hate it. I guess I'm one of the people that say, it's okay. It's got its place. Now this on the nose is a lot milder. There's spicier notes. It's almost like I'm starting to detect aroma-wise that small grain bourbon that they call in it with the Triple Crown. They use a combination, they said, a combination of small grain bourbons. And they claim it's the most expensive bourbon in the world and all this. Yeah, right. That's why it's $24 a bottle, because it's the most expensive bourbon in the world used in the mix. And it probably would be $600 a bottle, maybe. Maybe some charred oak barrel aging. So we got Kentucky versus Missouri today. Triple Crown from Missouri, Western Missouri, like close to the border with Kansas, I think. It's right east of the, or northeast, or whatever that directional thing you would use for that, because that river goes wiggly. But the Missouri River, when it comes into Missouri, you know. And then this is from Kentucky, north central Kentucky. Johnny Walker Blue and Jack Green I need to try. I'd like to try Johnny Walker Blue myself, but for $269 a bottle, I'm willing to wait. Maybe forever. You know what I mean? The Jack Daniels Green Label. You ever tried the Black Label? That's pretty much what it tastes like. People say, oh no, it's way different. I mean, people say so. I don't think it's too different. Maybe the experts at Jack Daniels Distillery can taste the difference, and that's why they find that the green is inferior and they put it in the green label and sell it. But to me, it's so minimal, but I may not have a nose and a palate for it. You know, I may not be able to pick that up. Could be, you know. All right, taste time. Yeah, there's daylight coming. Hey, you know, it's just a flavor generally associated with whiskey, as the U.S. government requires. It's just basic, but it's all right. Now, some stores around here have this for like $8.99 a bottle. To me, that's not really a good deal, because I can go to some other places, they'll have it for $5.99 a bottle. That's $3 cheaper, right? But those are like obscure places, sort of. But really, why would I ever pay $8.99 for 80% grain neutral spirits when I could go to a store I know that's on a major highway and get a straight bourbon whiskey for the same price? $8.99 straight bourbon whiskey, no corn liquor filler, you know, no grain neutral spirits filler. Now, I didn't say it was a good one. I just said I could get it. You know what I mean? I mean. So, and I can go to Winn-Dixie and buy straight bourbon whiskey in the big plastic jug, and sometimes they'll have that for $13.99. Now the question is it any good? I don't know. I've never tried it. Might be terrible. People buy it though. Boy, it sells. They got that Winn-Dixie gin, the rum, the vodka. Oh man, you say, I bet it's made by Sazerac. You'd win that bet. That's a nice Frontier Elixir label it has. Yeah, Frontier. Yep. It's a nice label. It's their #1 selling blended whiskey. All right. You get that sourdough bagel. I need to get some bagels. I haven't had bagels in so long, but they're kind of heavy, like you eat a whole bagel with the cream cheese and then you'd be like, oh, it's like this huge bread, this huge, thick, dense bread donut, If I go to the hotel and they have them on, their daybreak breakfast or whatever they got, I'll get the cream cheese, put it on the toasted bagel, and it's all right. And I think to myself, yeah, eating this at the hotel, that's enough for whenever I'm eating that, 2 or 3 times a year. That's all right. And those waffles, that's another kind of heavy thing. They're pretty good over there, they'll have some pretty credible waffle mix. Like, a national brand, be like, they had Aunt Jemima waffle mix. Put that cooking spray on that griddle. Some people are totally unaware of how to use this. I was in New York City and the lady was like, "Oh Lord, how you do this?" Because she poured the batter on the griddle without spraying the spray. And they had a big sign. I said, well, it says it's going to be stuck because it's not going to have the lubrication, whatever. So I showed her how to turn it over. She just could not. It's easy, but you got to read directions. Of course, you got to be able to read. Some people can read stop and Big Mac, but they barely literate. I ran into that problem teaching high school. They'd say, what can we do to help students do better in school? I'd say, how about teaching them how to read? Oh, the principal wouldn't like that comment too much. He'd take offense to it. I say, that's the problem. I know you don't want to hear it because these principals, they don't want to hear nothing. They just want people to mimic or go with their program. So I would just listen. I wouldn't say anything at these meetings after a while. I was like, there's no use. They're not going to listen anyway. That's a government program. These government agencies, a school system is an agency, government agency, and they just very entrenched in their own careerism. They say it's about helping the kids. Yeah, well, it's really about helping their career and heading toward that goal. They got their eyes on the prize. You know what that prize is? Ding, 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 retirement. So I said, this is so corrupt. It's so probably that way in all 50 states. But I said, that's the key to the riddle, illiteracy. Oh, well. But those waffles will be pretty good at those. If you follow the directions correctly, they'll come right out there with that fork and they'll be fluffy. It's all right. Got that corn syrup, which is what most people use, syrup, that breakfast syrup, which in a way is very similar to the beer and the liquor that we drink because it all uses the government subsidized corn syrup, you see? You say, is that why people are so dang fat? Well, what do they feed pigs? All right. Good morning and happy Independence Day 2019, says Zach. Oh, happy. Well, that got canceled. I was talking about that earlier. There is no Independence. It's Oppression Day because Colin Kaepernick didn't approve of it. So we don't have that holiday is gone. That's an old bad people holiday. You know, those bad people in the 1700s came up with the holiday. Those oppressors. Well, I think this is Heaven Hill, because I'm gonna tell you why. I said the sourdough, but it has this underneath taste of that honeydew melon. It's not as severe. You'll get it. It'll be worse than some other Heaven Hill brands, like the Kentucky Gold. Ooh, I said I'd hate to try the Kentucky Silver or the Bronze if that's the gold. But there's still that kind of defect. It's a pretty serious defect. It's that honeydew melon in it. You'll see it in that T.W. Samuels. That's a very popular Heaven Hill brand around here. But in Baton Rouge, the Baton Rouge area, and Hammond, up to Hammond, which kind of like in their diocese. You say, well, a diocese, that's a church boundary. It has nothing to do with beer, wine, and liquor. I know. But in Louisiana, it seems to follow that. Like the distribution channels seem to follow the diocese channels. What I'm saying is that, like, you got Mockler that distributes Anheuser-Busch in that Baton Rouge diocese, and then you've got Southern Eagle that distributes Anheuser-Busch in the Archdiocese of New Orleans. And that's kind of like the boundary they follow, really. Although there is a North Shore one called Champagne Distributing. They're kind of small. So it's peculiar. Even the border of what is available seems to follow that. You go to St. James Parish, by golly, you get a whole lot of different beers and liquor over there. Archdiocese of Baton Rouge. Not Archdiocese of Baton Rouge. This one here has a little richer flavor. This one has a more developed flavor, a deep flavor, a more bourbon flavor. I know it's a year younger. I can't answer for that. I don't know why it would have a richer flavor, even though it's age a year less. I don't know, but the flavor is better. Now, if I can get Heaven Hill for $6.50 a bottle, and I got to pay $24 a bottle for Triple Crown, would I ever pay $24? No, I would never pay that kind of money for that. But I got a special, $3.99 for the $3.75, so I jumped on it. My friend David jumped on it. We were happy. It's not an extraordinary whiskey. It's nothing like that. It's just regular old stuff. It's fine. It's not really flawed. It's not really full of flaws. You know, it's just like basic. You don't taste it and then say, what's that weird flavor? You know, no, it's just like fine. It's fine. And I'm going to say this is TC, Triple Crown. It is TC. I haven't gotten it wrong yet. Not one time with Triple Crown versus everybody else. And is it the quality making a difference? Yes, I believe so. Craig Swenson says, good morning. Any plans for more live videos today? No, I didn't really have any plans for that. I was going to do the Bacardi rum versus Clubhouse rum today. That was going to fill the Friday slot. But then what happened was, remember, Facebook crashed for like 10 hours yesterday. And I was like, well, I'm not going to look at a bunch of blank spaces for photos. Phooey on that. I'll just do the live hangout at 5:30 Eastern time, which I did yesterday. And it worked out fine. And I got it right and everything. Then by the time I was finished at 6 o'clock Eastern time at the top of the hour, I'm sorry. Yeah. 6 o'clock Eastern. Then the problem had cleared up on Facebook. I see it was starting to clear up. Just as I was looking at it, all the photos were coming out. So they finally fixed it. So I went through it and looked at the stuff. It was nothing, too remarkable, but it was nice. What's a good mead brand, says Soylent Green? I really don't know. I've never had mead in my life. I wouldn't know what to tell you about mead in any way. I had a beer that was made with mead once. It was one of those gimmick beers, craft beer gimmick beers. It wasn't really that very good. It was okay. Yeah, you can tell Heaven Hill. At least they're filler brand. You know, they're cheapos. Now some. Oh, woo, that last little draw had a lot of that grain alcohol in it. Oh man. Oh man. Come on, Heaven Hill. What y'all trying to do over here? They say making money. That's what we doing. We making money. Now Heaven Hill's probably telling me you sell the volume we sell. No, I don't sell nothing. And if people buy it, I don't care. But yeah. I don't smell the grain neutral. I know you're not supposed to be able to smell it. I don't smell that funny business on the nose, but in the flavor, oh man. Wow. It's like a cat. Now this one here doesn't have that. I know it's 80% grain neutral spirits also, the Triple Crown, but it doesn't have that taste, but maybe it's the oak extract. You say they cheating, they're using oak extract, they're cheating. They are cheating. You're allowed to cheat with blended whiskey. Didn't you know that? Why do you think Canadian blended whiskey has all these weird flavors? Because it incorporates weird flavors. Rum, brandy, wine, and even bourbon. They can use that in the Canadian whiskey. You say it's not a pure product. Whoever said it was. American blended whiskey can cheat. They can use blending sherry in it. I think it's up to 2%. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can look at the Tax and Trade Bureau website. Up to 2% blending sherry. So actually 2% of this bottle could be, 2% of the volume could be sherry. That's a wine, that's a dessert wine. So, well, hey, is it going to be unsafe to drink? No. You're moderate about it. That's the world. That's the world, man. You want a purified whiskey, then you're going to have to buy bottled and bond. Want a purified, get the bottle and bond. You want to be on the safe side. You can make your whole channel dedicated to bonded whiskey, all right? And it is a strict law. Aren't that many companies that follow that anymore because the days of poison whiskey have gone away unless you live in Uganda or India or Sri Lanka or I guess I could name a lot of countries. But in the United States and Canada and England, Germany, you're not going to have to worry about it. It's not that the whiskey is going to make you sick. It'll only make you sick in the flavor. You know what I mean? Like you just might say, it tastes bad. Tastes bad. You might say that. You don't have to worry about dying, from it. But in Uganda and India, you got to worry. So, I wouldn't even buy liquor in India. No way. Anyway, so not tomorrow. What am I talking about? In 2 days, I'm planning to do Triple Crown versus T.W. Samuels. It's going to be the same result. If you want to save your time and do something else, then don't watch it. Because it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to taste them. I'll make some little comments about news or whatever, just because I'm doing that, letting them breathe. And that'll make some people angry, and other people will laugh it off because they realize it's not meant to be taken seriously anyway. And then I'll compare them. And then the Triple Crown won't have those weird flavors, and the T.W. Samuels will have the deficits. And then in a blind taste, I'll tell you this is Triple Crown, and I'll get it right. So I'm telling you what's going to happen in 2 days. So if you want to save 30 minutes of your life, don't watch the video. But if you just want to watch, I'll be there. Same time, same channel, same presentation. You know how it works. Thanks for watching this video production. There's daytime. I'm going walking.